Welcome everyone to just your morning flow practice. We'll get started today in whatever place on your mat is comfortable for you, whether that's lying down in child's pose, seated, just beginning to find the most comfortable place for your body so that you can just start to unwind into this practice. We're exploring another yama today, Aparigraha, and this is actually one of my favorite yamas. And it roughly translates as non-hoarding, but I like to think of this one as letting go. And that the more that we attach ourselves to material possessions, to things, to people, to places, the less room that we really have to move through this world. Because we're constantly being pulled in a million directions. And we're also afraid to lose those things that we've dubbed to be ours or that we've grown accustomed to. And so Aparigraha really lands beautifully with this season that we're stepping into of fall. Of seeing the leaves on the trees start to turn and to start to fade away, to release their grip from the branches. And fall is such a beautiful season to inwardly look at where can we embrace this change? Where can we allow ourselves to let go of what was so that we can step into what is right here, right now. And so even with your practice, noticing how you've landed and being comfortable enough to just sink in, to release the physical tension of your body. And this physical release allows you to create space to potentially release any tension of your heart or your mind. And this could be things that have happened last week or over the weekend. This could be tension created by future events or worries. You might not even know why this tension is in your physical body or emotional body, but it's just a feeling of being confined or the walls closing in. It's a little bit of that feeling like you can't breathe. And so as you start your practice, notice the space you have to deepen into your breath. That how you might have started to breathe here was more shallow than what is available for you. Give yourself the gift and the courage to take in that extra sip of air, but then to completely empty out, to completely let go of that breath without fear that the inhale won't come. Notice how your breath is a reminder that we are always filling up and emptying out, and that there's no need to control or hold on to your breath. That we step into this beautiful dance and freedom when we just let go. Let's take 3 more breaths before we start moving together. Take a giant breath in, fill up all the way, even maybe taking that extra sip of air at the top. And then exhale out completely, like you're pouring water out of a vase. Contract into your belly, pause in the emptiness, and notice the urge to fill up, so you inhale. Pause at the top, notice that feeling of being constricted or tight, Now exhale out completely and feel that freedom. Pause. Take one more inhale breath. Hold at the top. Hold, hold, hold. And then exhale, completely let go. Gently start to bring some movement into your body, whether that's wiggling into your fingertips or toes, or gently rocking your head side to side. Allow the next few breaths to bring you up to a comfortable seat. So whether that's cross-legged or you can sit up onto your knees, sitting on your shins. So really just whatever is most comfortable for you. Okay. Hands land onto your knees or your thighs. And then start to shift your rib cage over to the left. And then creating these circles, start to draw yourself towards your left knee, hinging at the hips. Circle through center, heart coming towards your ankles or feet, and then shift over towards your right knee. Slowly start to shift back, leaning back. You can use your hands to hold you up, and then continue this circle. So the first time that you find it, it might be a little bit smaller, might feel a little sticky in the hips or the spine. As you move back, don't be afraid to contract through the core, tuck your chin to your chest. And then as you move forward, you can actually contract through the back, open through your heart, open through your throat. And then as you lean back, almost like you're rounding in towards yourself. Notice how this change is starting really slowly. So it might have felt awkward, it might have felt a little bit uneasy or unsteady. But now that you've been in this for a few circles, notice how you have more space. You've started to let go of some of the fuzz that's grown overnight between our muscles. You're just easing into self. And fall is really that reminder that transitions don't always have to be big and explosive, that they can be just simply letting go of one leaf at a time. Start to tighten up these circles. So they're going to slowly become less and less large. And as you do so, you'll notice that your spine is starting to stack from the bottom all the way up to the top. Maybe your rib cage just moving around your spinal column. And then eventually coming into stillness. Inhale, breath, reach your fingertips all the way up, gaze can follow. Exhale, twist to your right. Take your left hand onto your right knee or thigh. Walk your right fingertips back. Inhale, breath, reach up through center. And exhale, twist to the other side. And then just follow this flow, starting to find the invitation of your breath. Inhale, arms reach out and up. And then exhale, twist. Keep your spine tall, shoulders over hips. Move with your inhales to reach up. And exhales, contract into the core to bring you deeper into your twist. Let's take one more to each side. The next time that you come up through center, simply fold over top of your shins, slide your hands forward, and just drape your body. It should feel nice for your lower back as well as your thoracic spine. Tuck your chin in towards your chest, allow your head to hang heavy, and then imagine all of those connections down your spine of where your muscles meet your bone. That your muscles are just sliding out to the left and the right, almost like they're melting off of the side of your rib cage. And then as you inhale, breathe into those spaces. Imagine your inhale breath creating even just a tiny bit more room between the muscles and the bones.
And the exhale, allowing the muscles to release further, to soften and let go. Take one more full breath in. And long breath out. Walk your hands back in towards your shins. Stack your shoulders over your hips. Now, if you aren't cross-legged, switch the cross of your ankles. So the opposite foot is in front. And for just a moment, sit in the shape and notice the discomfort. Notice how it feels really sticky. It's a reminder that even in just a seated position, how we get so used to being somewhere. All right, let's take Sufi circles in the other direction. Shift your ribcage over to the right. Start to lean towards your right knee. Shift all the way through center, now leaning over to your left, and then begin to pull back, straightening out your arms, curl in towards yourself, and then just find these circles at your own pace. They might become bigger and bigger as you get more comfortable, as you start to release the physical tension of your body. You start to warm up and wake into your morning. And then instead of overthinking this, can you just close your eyes and feel? Feel your body just move like it's greeting the day. Can you hear the sounds of your breath and maybe even notice how breath and body link up? Start to tighten up these circles, just making them less and less large. You'll start to notice that your lower back is stabilizing, and then it's just your thoracic spine moving, maybe even just the rib cage, and then eventually coming to stillness. Inhale, breath, reach your arms out and up. Exhale, pour over to the left. Take your left hand to your mat, reach your right fingertips over. Inhale, breath, lift back up through center. Both fingertips reach skyward. And then exhale, pour over to the right. 2 more to each side. Inhale, lift up through center. Exhale to reach, lengthen through the side body. And then contract through the side body to pull up. And exhale, reach over. 1 more to each side. Follow the guide of your breath. All right. This time, use your inhale breath to lift up through center. Exhale, twist over to the left. And then start to walk your hands to the top left corner of your mat and fold in this twist. So fingertips might even walk off of your mat. Notice your right hip is going to want to lift up. Try to root that right hip down. Hands can be planted or you can tent up onto your fingertips. Allow your head to hang in heavy. And feel the length into your right hip and maybe your lower back on that side. Imagine your breath traveling all the way down towards this area that's feeling tight or maybe even slight pulley. And as you inhale, expand into those spaces that are a little bit stubborn to let go this morning. And as you exhale, offer them the release. Take 1 more breath on this side. Walk your hands back up in towards your body and then untwist. All right, other side. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, twist over to the right. Left hand on towards your right knee and then walk your fingertips just towards the top right corner or even off to the side. Left hip now rooting down towards the ground. Notice if there's any stickiness, can you bring your breath to that place or even just the intention of your breath? So physical air may not be traveling to that point in your body but the expansion and contraction of self is always available. That there's always room to bring in, to get big, to stretch, and there's always room to empty out and release and let go. So today's practice really is based on that exhale breath and our ability to trust that it's okay to let go and trust that that next little bit will come, whether it's the inhale or the opportunity or the direction. Walk your hands back up in towards your body. Untwist your spine, knee into tabletop. Slide your hands forward, rolling over top of your ankles, and then uncross your ankles. All right. Tuck your toes under. Let's move to downward facing dog. Notice the length that's happening through the back of the legs. And it might feel really sticky, especially being in seated with bent knees for a while. So start to pedal out your feet, dropping one heel towards the earth. Notice how the first few times you did this, you might feel some restriction, but the next couple times that there's more space to move. Another reminder, like fall, that we are always shifting and changing. And so we don't always have to force, but it's okay to just slowly, mindfully, gently move through this life, just as we move through this practice. The next time that you go to shift one heel down, just bring both heels towards the earth. You can even take a soft bend into your knees and pause in stillness, but notice how the breath still moves. The inhale still gives you an opportunity to lift your hips up, and the exhale still gives you an opportunity to settle in. Let's take one more full breath, just like that. And exhale. Inhale breath, shift forward to high plank, ripple through your spine. Draw your belly button towards the ceiling, core engaged. And then exhale, lift your hips up and back, downward facing dog. Let's move through it 3 more times. Inhale breath, ripple forward, shoulders over your wrists. Exhale, lift your hips to the sky, downward facing dog. Move twice more. Inhale brings you forward. Exhale brings you back. Last one to bring you forward, and then lower to the earth, either from toes or knees. Elbows point back behind you. Walk your fingertips out wide, tenting up onto all 10 fingertips. Feet stay rooted on your mat. As you inhale, start to peel yourself off of your mat. Head comes up last. As you exhale, roll your right shoulder forward, look over to the left. Pause for an inhale and an exhale. On your next inhale, press into your fingertips, rise through center. Exhale, take your left shoulder towards the ground and look over to the right. Hold for an inhale and an exhale. Inhale, breath, lift up through center. Exhale, release back down. Take your hands underneath your shoulders. Press back to a child's pose. Lift away from your mat. Take your knees wide, big toes to touch. Sit your hips back towards your heels. Take a full breath in. And a long exhale, breath out. Meet back into downward facing dog. Hips lift up, toes tuck. Beautiful. Walk your big toes together to touch. As you inhale, slide your right heel high to the sky. Bend into your right knee, stack into your hip. On an exhale breath, step through between your hands, low runner's lunge. Check in with your hands here. If it feels difficult to bring your fingertips towards the earth, you can always grab blocks or something like a water bottle to take your hands onto. Take a full breath in. Lower your left hips and your heart forward. As you exhale, straighten out both legs. Lift your hips up to the sky. Even option to peel your front toes up and away from the earth. Okay. Then back into your front knee.
Pick up your back heel into your lunge again. Lower your left hip down, open through the heart. Exhale, shift your weight back. Straighten out your front leg and fold over top of your thigh. Let's move through that a few more times. Inhale, breath to shift forward. Exhale to shift back. Inhale, breath, bring your heart forward, lift your gaze. Exhale, shift back. And last one, shift forward, but don't lower your hip to the earth this time. Keep that activation into your left leg. Press into your hands, three-legged dog. Sweep your front foot back. Right toes lift up to the sky. Bend into your right knee, stack into your hip. Peel your side body open. As you exhale, step through warrior two. Right foot plants, turn and pivot your back foot. And as you inhale, windmill your left hand up and then right to follow. Okay, check in with your front knee. Really important in this pose that knee lands over ankle and that your knee isn't falling inwards. So you should be able to see the inside of your front knee. If you can't, just press more to the pinky side edge of that foot. All right, flip your front palm to face up. Inhale, breath, straighten out your front leg, reach your right hand towards the ceiling, left hand slides down your back leg. Exhale, meet back to warrior two. Bend into your front knee, palms reach down. Bring your front forearm onto your thigh. Inhale, sweep your left fingertips down and over. Exhale, pause, extended side angle. Take one more inhale breath. And then exhale, come all the way back up, warrior two. And let's flow through that a few times. Flip your front palm to face up. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Exhale, extended side angle. Move through warrior two, front forearm onto thigh. Back hand can lift up and over or sweep down. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Straighten out your front leg. Start to open through the side body. Exhale, extended side angle. Let's take two more breaths just like that. Inhale, press into your front foot, lift out of your right hip. Exhale, extended side angle. One more time, inhale, breath, lift all the way up. This time, keep your legs as they are, and then just bring your upper body back through center. Pick up your front toes, turn and pivot them to the side of your mat. Hands come onto your hips. Roll your shoulders once or twice. Feel any release of tension you were holding there. Pull your elbows back, lift through your heart. Take a big breath in. Exhale, start to hinge with a flat back. Soft bend into your knees to support your lower back. All right, wide-legged down dog. Release your hands towards the ground. Walk your left fingertips out in front of you. And then start to look underneath your left armpit towards your left ankle. Right hand reaches for your foot, ankle, shin, whatever's available. If you want to work more into your chest and shoulders, think about melting your left armpit towards the ground. If you want to work more into a twist, press into your right hand, bend your elbow, and start to bring yourself closer towards your back leg. Wherever you are, relax the tension you might be harboring in your neck. Take a deep breath in. Soften through the exhale. Take the opportunity to release tension. One more inhale. And then exhale, come back through center. Replace your left hand with your right. Look towards the top of your mat. Left hand grabs a hold of your right leg. You can always shorten the distance between your feet or take a deeper bend in your knees if you need some extra space here. You focus on the sensation in your body rather than focusing on how this has to look or feel, and just move from a place of knowing. So if it doesn't quite feel good, shift, find somewhere that you can comfortably land. Gently release the grip of your front foot. Walk your hands so that they land underneath your shoulders. Heel toe your back foot closer to your front by about a foot. So just heel toe it maybe once or twice. Keep your left toes facing the side of your mat. Walk your hands to the front, and as you do so, pick up your right toes and turn and pivot them to point to the top of your mat.
Okay, so your toes are pointing in 2 different directions. Start to bend into your front knee. Walk your hands forward, half moon. Hands can come back onto that block or fingertips. Pick up your back heel. Left toe should point to the side of the room. If they're pointing down, just start to turn them to the side of the room, which will pick your hip up and over top of your right. Optional, you can stay here, or you can start to peel your left hand to your hip, or reach your left fingertips all the way up. Squeeze into your left glute to keep your heel nice and lifted. Beautiful. Bend into your standing leg. Step back to a warrior 2. Left foot comes towards the earth. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, windmill your hands down either side of your front foot. Step your front toes back, high plank. Lower from toes or knees all the way towards the earth. Walk your fingertips out wide. Inhale, breath, lift up through center. Exhale, roll your right shoulder forward, look over to the left. Inhale, breath, lift back up through center, tenting up onto your fingertips. Exhale, take your left shoulder forward, look over to the right. Inhale, come back up through center. Exhale, lower all the way down. Plant your hands underneath your shoulders, knee into child's pose. Take your hips back towards your heels, forehead roots down. Because I had a request for lower back today, I really like to add in child's pose to your vinyasa sequence, but it gives you that opportunity just to open up the lower back before coming into down dog. So know that you can always add this in, even if it's just for a breath. All right, knee into downward facing dog. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders, tuck your toes, lift your hips. Walk your big toes together to touch. Inhale, breath, left heel rises high. Bend into your left knee, stack into your hip. Almost like you're peeling your side body open, similar to your half moon, but in a down dog shape. As you exhale, step through, left foot lands towards the top of your mat. Be optional to bring your hands onto blocks. I actually really like blocks or water bottles, anything here to give you some extra room. Take a full breath in, start to just lower your right hip slightly, send your heart forward. Exhale, pick your hips up, straighten out your front leg and fold over your left thigh. Okay. It's okay if your back heel is lifted throughout this. Just start to move forward and back. Almost like a rocking chair motion with your body. Notice how you're actually taking cat-cow movements of your spine, how you're opening up through the belly, throat, chest, and then you're folding and curling through the back body. Take 2 more rounds of breath and movement, slowly easing your way into your hips, into your spine. And then the next time that you move towards your lunge, you can release your blocks. 3-legged dog, press into your hands, sweep your left foot back behind you. Bend into your left knee, stack into your hip. As you exhale, warrior 2. Left foot steps between your hands. Turn and pivot your back foot and use your inhale to windmill up. Okay. Soft through your elbows, so you don't have to be reaching and rigid, but you can actually have a little bit of space to just kind of ease in. Flip your front palm to face up. As you inhale, straighten out your front leg. Take your left hand up, right hand slides down your back leg. As you exhale, come back to your warrior 2. Inhale, breath to extended side angle. Front forearm onto your thigh. Right hand can sweep down and forward or can just come up and over. So whatever feels best for your shoulder. Hold here for an extra breath, just so you can feel into the reach through the side body. And then use your next exhale to lift up, warrior 2. All right, moving a little bit faster, flip your front palm. Inhale, straighten into your front leg, reverse your warrior. Exhale, extended side angle. Move through warrior 2 in 1 breath, and then reach all the way over with your right fingertips. Inhale to reverse. Gaze can come up.
And exhale, extended side angle. Let's take one more round, just like that. The next time that you go to lift up, straighten out your front leg, take left hand high, keep your legs as they are, and then just release your arms. So you're back into your 5-pointed star. Turn and pivot your left toes to the side of your mat. Hands interlace behind your back, roll your shoulders up and down. On an inhale breath, lift through your heart, send your knuckles towards the earth. As you exhale, forward fold, soft bend in your knees, straight back. Now hands can float away from your lower back, or you can keep them connected. If this pinches in your shoulders at all, just gently release your hands towards the ground. If you want to take a different variation, we're here for about 5 breaths, so you're welcome to play with this shape, play with this pose. Now, those of you that have your hands floating away from your lower back, slowly bring your bind to your body. So hands to your lower back, and then gently release the grip of your fingertips. Start to lengthen out your spine, hands underneath your shoulders. Heel toe your right foot closer to your left. So back foot is moving up. Now root through your back foot so that it doesn't move at all, and just turn and pivot your front toes to point to the top of your mat. So left toes point forward, right toes point to the long edge. Hands can always come onto blocks or up onto fingertips. Shift your weight into your left foot and spring off of your back foot so that your right toes point out to the side. Optional, you can keep your hands rooted down, just play with rolling your right hip open, or start to roll the shoulders open, stacking right shoulder over left, right hand to your hip, or reach your right hand all the way up. Notice if you're holding on to the breath here, trust that you can let it go, and that next inhale breath will come. All right, bend into your standing leg. Slower than you'd like, step back to a warrior 2. Right foot comes down, feel like you can float up, and then exhale, windmill your hands down either side of your front foot. Step back to a high plank. Take a full breath in. Exhale, lower all the way down again, either from toes or from knees. Let's take dancing cobra one more time. Walk your fingertips out wide, elbows point up. Inhale, breath, lift up through center. Exhale, roll your right shoulder forward, look to the left. Inhale, roll up through center. Exhale, take your left shoulder forward, look over to the right. Inhale, breath brings you up through center. Exhale to release back down. Press your hands underneath your shoulders, meet back into child's pose just for a breath. Send your hips back to your heels. Linger for an inhale and for an exhale. Shift forward to tabletop and then meet into downward facing dog one more time. Picking up your hips, lower your heels towards the earth. All right. Walk your big toes together to touch. Inhale, breath, draw your right heel high, bend into your right knee, stack into your hip. As you exhale, step through, high lunge this time. Keep your back heel lifted and then start to stack your shoulders over top of your hips, hands over top of your shoulders. Okay. Now I love taking different variations with the arms in this pose. You can always lower your back knee if this isn't feeling good for you. And then start to take your arms out wide. I like the palms to face up, but you can always have palms face out. Soften through the elbows, so you're not reaching, but that there's just an openness to all of this space that surrounds you. Can you breathe into the enormity of this moment? Sink in a little bit as you exhale. Just notice the sensation of being in this shape in your body. One more full breath in. Full breath out. As you inhale, reach your arms up. As you exhale, open up, warrior 2. All right.
Let's give that front leg a little bit of a break. Flip your front palm to face up. Inhale, reverse your warrior and hold. Straighten out your front leg. Right hand comes up to the sky. Now you can always take your right hand behind your head to your occipital lobe. So your fingertips where they just grace underneath the back of your skull. Elbow can point up. Optional to work into a half bind, bringing your left hand towards your right hip, or even left hand can come up between your shoulders and you can work into that full bind where your right and left hand meet between your shoulder blades. You don't worry about trying to force it into the bind. Let go of the expectation and just simply allow yourself to come into a shape that gives you the room to be here. On your next inhale breath, release your bind and then lift your upper body back up through center. Okay, triangle pose, kick your hips back, reach through your right fingertips. When you can't reach anymore, take your right hand down to the inside of your front foot, left fingertips reach up. If you are wanting to work onto the bind, but that last pose felt like too much, you can always take your top hand and start to slide it back behind you. Flip your palm to face out and bring that hand towards your front hip. So it's almost like your left hand is wrapping into your right hip crease. Then you can just play with leaning into the back of your hand or wrist. Optional, you can always take both fingertips out if you want to work into the core. Wherever you are, start to bring your left hand onto your left hip. Bend into your standing leg, coming into half moon one more time. Right hand can reach for a block or the top right corner of your mat. Float off of your back leg and see if you can come into your half moon. Okay. Now, optional to bind, you can play with bending into your lifted leg. Reach your left hand for the top of your foot. Now, you can either play with just drawing your hips forward and knee back, or you can work into candy cane. If you take your palm to face out, you're reaching for the big toe edge of the foot, and in candy cane, you can kick into your hand. So a lot of options here. Let go of exactly how this needs to look, and just simply give yourself some space to explore. You're here for 2 more breaths. And don't worry if you fall out or if this feels really challenging. Okay. Then back into your standing leg. If you're in a bind, release the grip. Come back to your warrior 2 one more time. Left foot flows down. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, windmill your hands down to frame your front foot. A little bit different, 3-legged dog. Sweep your right foot high to the sky. Bend into your right knee, stack into your hip. As you exhale, half pigeon. Take your right knee to your right wrist. Right ankle to the left side of your mat, lower your back knee down and untuck your toes. You walk your hands up in towards your body, so you're stacking shoulders over hips. If this pulls onto your knees, shift onto your front hip and just bend your back knee. In either of these variations, deer, like I'm doing, or half pigeon, what I was doing before, you're welcome to begin to fold over top of your front shin. If you're folding in your half pigeon, just make sure that you have equal weight onto both hips and you're not falling over to either side. I'm not going to be here for too long, but use this as an active recovery. So all of the strengthening that was just happening into your glutes, which is really good to help support the lower back. Now you just get an opportunity to ease into that area. Almost like a thank you to your body for the work that it's doing. So make sure that this is a thank you rather than another push or competition or drive, that it's an opportunity to release. Walk your hands back up in towards your body. Plant your hands in front of your shin. Tuck your back toes to lift your knee. Step back to downward facing dog. Now, if there's any movements that feel necessary or just feel good here, you're welcome to take them. Lifting up a foot at a time, picking up your heels, yogi's choice. Okay. Bring your big toes together to touch. As you inhale, reach your left heel high, bend into your left knee, stack into your hip. As you exhale, step through high lunge. Left foot lands towards the top of your mat. Root through your feet and lift your upper body to stack over top of your hips. Okay, once again, just holding in the pause of this pose, bring your arms out wide. Slide your shoulder blades together and start to crack your heart wide, 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 wide open. You know, whether palms face out or up, just keep a softness through the elbows. You can even close your eyes if you want to play a little bit with balance. And let go of the urgency to fix or to perfect. And just allow yourself to soak in this moment. The opening of your chest, the opening of your right hip, the strength of your body, even if it doesn't feel strong today. On your next inhale, reach your arms all the way up. As you exhale, open up warrior two. Flip your front palm to face up. Inhale, straighten into your front leg. Reach your left hand to the sky. And then bring your left hand to the base of your skull. So your left elbow starts to reach up. Optional to stay here. Work into your half bind. Right hand wraps towards your front hip. Or you can work into your full bind. Right hand up between your shoulder blades. Okay. This side always feels a little bit harder for me as a right-hander. So if you can't quite come into the bind on this side, that's totally okay. Just continue to reach out of that left side body. Create some lift, some lightness. On your next inhale breath, you can release your bind. Come all the way back through center, triangle. Start to hinge forward, kick your hips back. Reach through your left fingertips. When you can't reach anymore, left hand floats towards your front shin or inside of your leg. Right hand reaches up. Again, optional to work on that half bind. If you're trying to open up the shoulders, just leaning into the back of your hand. Otherwise, soft bend into your front knee so you're not locking out that joint. Slide shoulder blades together, open up through the chest. Bring your right hand to your right hip. Final pose of this standing sequence. Bend into your front knee. You can always heel toe your back foot closer. Left hand either onto a block or the top left corner of your mat. Knee into your second round of half moon. Now right hand can stay rooted, can lift up. You can play with the two different types of binds, either catching the top of your foot or the big toe edge and then kicking into your hand. Sometimes we have to let go of our attachments to liking or disliking a pose. That not everyone loves this pose, but it doesn't mean that we can't be in it or that we can't find some joy in it. So even if it's challenging, can you find joy in the strength of your body, the courage of yourself to show up? If you do love it, can you just linger in the sensation of how it feels? Beautiful. Slowly, slowly, slowly release your bind. Bend into your standing leg, warrior two. Bring your right foot to the earth. Inhale, lift all the way up. Exhale, windmill your hands down either side of your front foot. Three-legged dog. Left foot lifts high. Bend into your left knee. Stack into your hip. As you exhale, half pigeon. Left knee to your left wrist. Left ankle to the right side of your mat. Take your time to come into your upright pigeon first. So you can make sure your hips are square, and if they're not, just come into deer instead. And then you're welcome to hinge and fold forward whenever you're ready. Forearms can support you. You can use your same blocks to rest your forehead or forearms onto. And just take a couple of deep breaths. Let go of where you've been in this practice. Knowing that we're starting to transition to Shavasana, that everything that has happened up to this point has just brought you here. And so you don't need to carry it with you into your day. You don't have to hold on. Just take it step by step. And when you step away from something, allow yourself to truly step away. And that's what will give you the space to move forward. Walk your hands back up in towards your body. Okay. Shift over onto your front hip and then scoop your back knee around and in front. Plant your feet out in front of you so your knees point up towards the ceiling. Feet can be about hip width or even wider, and then just start to fold yourself over top of your thighs. Chin tucks in towards your chest and you're looking for a rounded spine. Now it might feel nice to gently rock side to side. Allow your belly to rest onto your thighs. Notice the sensation along the back of your body. This is one of my poses or favorite poses just to release, especially lower back and mid back. Start to focus on sending your breath or even the intention of your breath to those areas that are sticky or still a little stubborn. Notice your body getting heavier and heavier. And then imagine you're stacking your vertebrae one by one. Start to walk your hands up your shins, knees, thighs. Head comes up last. And walk your fingertips back. Take your feet wider, about mat width distance, and then just gently drop your knees to the left and to the right. Bring your feet hip width distance for stability, and then just start to lower down one forearm at a time until you come all the way onto your mat, and then bring your knees into your chest. Give yourself a gentle hug. You might rock side to side, or you might just pause. Ankles can always cross if you'd like. Now this next pose of snail, if snail or what you might know as plow isn't available for you or puts a lot of pressure onto your shoulders or your neck, just keep your knees into your chest as you're doing, giving yourself a nice big hug. If you want to play with snail, you can release your hands down beside you and then just start to lift your knees in towards your chest and your hips will lift up. So using your core, you're just gonna start to lift your hips away from the earth. You know, if you're looking over at me, make sure you're not doing this movement. You want your gaze straight up. Okay, if you do need to check out what's happening, just make sure you're not actually doing the pose because you want to support make sure your neck is supported. All right, eventually your hips will lift up enough that you can bend your elbows, bring your hands to your lower back, and then you're just supporting yourself in this shape. Knees can stay bent, or you can start to straighten out your legs for plow. Again, you can always lower back down all the way onto your spine and just bring your knees into your chest. So you're looking for that opening of the lower back. You can always separate your knees if that feels better. Gravity will eventually start to pull your toes and your knees closer towards your shoulders, closer to the ground, and this will give you a deeper opening through the back body. Take 2 more breaths in whatever variation you've chosen. And then to come out of this, just really take your time. Slowly, slowly, slowly start to lower your hips deeper into your hands. Hands can help lower your hips to the ground. Knees bend into your chest. And then release the soles of your feet onto the ground. Let's close off with a couple of twists just to ring out the spine. Pressing into your feet, pick your hips up and over to the left side of your mat, and then allow your knees to drop over to the right. Optional, use any props if there's any spaces between your body and itself or your body and the ground. You can always add in pillows or blocks. Gaze can come the opposite direction of your knees. Notice how the space here feels. But sometimes the best way to let go of where we were is just to simply bring yourself into this present moment. To notice what's available right here, right now. You know, there's so much emphasis on living a full life, it seems, and living each day to the fullest. And it sometimes feels like we're always trying to pack in. And what we forget, and I think what this season we're stepping into is that reminder of, is that each day is full. It's already full. That there is this enormity of a moment. And so even right here, notice everything you can tap into. There is so much available. And so when we're constantly looking for outside possessions or relationships or jobs or meanings outside of ourselves, that we end up overstuffing that suitcase, and then it's really challenging to walk through life with it. So can you just let go for a moment of the past, the future, anything associated with them, and take 3 breaths for yourself in this present moment. Slowly start to bring your gaze up through center and knees to follow. Shift your hips back into the middle of your mat. If you need any movement side to side, you're welcome to take it. Otherwise, press into the soles of your feet, shift your hips up and over to the right, and then allow your knees to slowly lower over to the left. If it's comfortable for your neck, bring your gaze in the opposite direction. And just give yourself some space to breathe into everything that's available here. I like to think of ourselves as containers, and that we have a limited amount of space of what we can hold. And so just checking in with, all the things that have been causing you stress or worry, frustration, some of those emotions below the line. If you just start to notice which ones are present right now, or not necessarily in this moment, but in this moment of your life. So in this period or this season, notice how full your container is. Notice if you have room to move through the rest of your day, or are you so full that you're just barely dragging through? And if that is the case, can you see letting go as an opportunity to be free rather than a loss? That Aparigraha, to let go, allows us to step into this unlimited space for ourselves. And so before you come out of this twist, what are you willing to let go of today? What are you willing to let go of to give yourself more freedom? Slowly start to make your way back through center. Take any final movements that your body is craving. And when you're ready, begin to land yourself in Shavasana.
Slow down until you can hear the sound of your breath. You can feel the weight of your body. As we move into this new season, the trees will become bare, shedding every little layer, every last leaf, until there's nothing left. And in this moment of transition, of soul-bearing unraveling, there's also faith. There's faith in this ebb and flow of life. Allow yourself to trust in this process of change. For change is the only constant in our life. And this will mean taking chances and making unexpected choices. Learning to sit in the free fall and sitting amidst the transition, the fleeting moments, and embracing the growth that walks hand in hand with change. For it's all a journey, and sometimes you need to let go of what was in order to embrace what is, and ultimately what will be. To live in the unknown and just trust, trust, trust. I'll leave you here for a moment in Shavasana. Silence on my end, and I'll bring you out when we're ready to close off together. If you need longer in Shavasana, you're welcome to take it. You're ready to start to move through the rest of your day. And just gently start to wake up your body, wiggling into fingertips and toes. Taking head side to side. Maybe a nice big good morning stretch. Allow these next few breaths to bring yourself up to a comfortable seat if you are choosing to move. And instead of hands at heart center, we're going to take a different mudra today. You'll just simply place your hands into your lap with your palms space open. Humble your chin to your chest and close your eyes. You just concentrate on this emptiness in your hands. And so whenever the space of your container starts to feel full, just empty it back out. And trust in this ebb and flow of filling up and emptying out. And so remembering to always keep just a little bit of space rather than overflowing. Just a little bit of space for yourself to move and navigate any shifts that come up. That we always, always, always need this space to transition. And it's one of the most beautiful gifts that you can actually give yourself. Truly from the bottom of my heart. Namaste. If you want to stay on for an extra 5 minutes, I will be moving you through a journaling prompt about
Aparigraha. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of your day, and thank you for joining me. Okay, so if you are staying on, some things that you could journal about for Aparigraha. You can look at it in the material sense of the word. So you can look at, where do I hold material possessions, or have I bought things that I've only used once or twice? Do I find that my closet is full of clothes that I don't need or haven't worn in ages? And it is a really cool opportunity in the sense of material possessions to actually give. So, the women's shelter, I don't know if they're accepting used clothes right now, but, there's a lot of places of people that have so much less. And when we're just hoarding onto this, it's just filling up space in the closet. It's filling up a room in our minds. It's filling up all the things we have to keep track of. So that can be one. You can consider material possessions. Another one is also looking at how do you have trouble letting go of your own self-identity? So do you struggle to, if you've gone through a major shift in career or relationship or life, we're all going through one right now in life, but do you hold on to the past? Do you hold on to what was, and it's really holding you back from stepping into what is? And I think that's a really big one right now with COVID of, this is such a new normal and no one has any idea how this winter will look. But if we hold on to what last winter looked like or what it used to look like, we're going to be really disappointed with how this one shows up, because it's a new season and it's a new change. So just looking at anywhere that you might be holding on, and maybe journaling about what would happen if you let go. If you let go of that one thing or one idea or one belief, what space could you create to step into this new season? Or even, beliefs about yourself as well. So that can be a third one of like, what do I believe about myself that limits me? We all have limiting beliefs. We all have the I'm not good enough, or, oh, I can't do that. I'm not strong enough. I'm not smart enough. And those all limit us because we won't even try, because we believe that we can't, so we don't. So that's another way you can look at this. I'll give you a few minutes to journal. Take as much time as you need, and then we can always discuss this afterwards. But if you do have to go, at least hopefully this helps you just kind of see how letting go fits into your life today. Okay, I'll give you a few minutes.